We came across this story that I don't think should probably surprise too many people, because obviously the United States is facilitating Israel's genocide on the Palestinian people. It turns out that they have found oxycodone in bags of flour distributed by U.S. Israeli-backed aid centers in Gaza. It is an opioid, highly addictive. It is not enough to incinerate Palestinians, to bomb them, shoot them, starve them, and maim them, to destroy the healthcare infrastructure so they are vulnerable to diseases, infections, and thus death. They have to sow addiction to one of the worst and most destructive diseases. Could you imagine?
Can you also point out, though, because it's hard from how you read that the properly that aid centers is put in quotes. These are not aid centers. These are contractors that have been hired to gradually final solution the Palestinians. And the manner in which they're doing that is by dangling aid and having them come into corrals where they can shoot them and do other things to distract us from looking at that, like, I don't know, go to war with Iran. But make no mistake, these are not aid centers. So I just want to point out, and she does properly have it in quotes. India, thoughts?
Disgusting. As a person who actually cares about people, sometimes it's incomprehensible to me how people can just be so damn evil. Like, how do they live with themselves? How do they sleep at night? How do they hug their children? And how do they believe that there's any salvation for their souls?
Yeah.
It's not just that. There are people that truly take joy in the suffering of others. And one of the things that ends up happening, and again, the drug trade is predicated on the idea that a few people get rich and so many more have to suffer as a result. I believe I'm very libertarian about narcotics. I think they should all be legal with rare exceptions. I think especially the fact that you still have people that try to crack down on cannabis, which is incredible. If everybody had the ability to smoke cannabis, there probably would be a lot less crossover into pills and different types of drugs, Ambien, Oxycodone.
Okay, yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the Sacklers. Yeah, prison would be to me, the lenient end of where the Sacklers should be. And again, I don't support the death penalty, but I'm a big fan of vigilante justice, so we'll just let you guys go with that. The Sacklers are some of the biggest pieces of shit that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But could you imagine, because we have an opioid crisis in this country, and we especially have an oxycodone crisis, the Sacklers did what they did. We know that the cartels have been lacing, and of course it's always at the directive of the CIA, but they have been lacing different types of drugs, like different types of street cannabis, lacing it with fentanyl. And we all know what's happening, and these communities are being absolutely devastated and destroyed. Could you imagine the thought process to say, this is flour that they need to survive so that they have food? Let's lace it with oxycodone. Like, that is a certain level of psychopathy that I can't even put into words. The death and destruction, the way that we will look back on this period, because I'm with Jen. I think they're going to kill them all. Now, we cannot let what is happening to the Palestinians go in vain. That's our responsibility, to make sure the people that did this pay for what they did. But watching it in real time is absolutely horrifying. And the fact that people are silent about this is incredible. Now, obviously, one of the things that's changed since the last time you were on our channel is we have actually hit our stride for the first time. And we're putting out clips now that are getting 20, 30, 40, even 100 to 200,000 views. And what we're hoping is that enough people are going to see this so that they recognize just how devastating this genocide really is. It's not just one layer, it's many. And this is a level of sadistic behavior that is in line with the worst atrocities of Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, and Adolf Hitler, and anything that has happened in other parts of the world, like Sudan, and Somalia and Yemen that we don't hear about. And it's done on purpose. There are people that truly want to hurt. It's not just enough to kill people. They want them to suffer while they're dying. And we have people that pull the levers of power in this country, like Kirsten Gillibrand, who probably enjoy it. But to the liberal fuckheads in this country who think, well, she's a Democrat, she can't possibly think like that. Trust me, they are infinitely more sinister than the out front conservatives that exist.
Well, she's more concerned about the feelings of elitist, suburban white Zios than she is about the death of Palestinian people. But that's also because she values white lives more. And that's really what this comes down. I mean, I've been saying that from the beginning. The white supremacy with the Zios is off the chart. And this is just, like they don't think of them as real people. Have you not noticed this, India?
And that's the thing, right? Is it's like the only thing worse than feelings of enjoyment is a complete indifference, as if these people just don't matter. So the outcome is not of concern to any of these people who are supporting these endless wars and these genocides and this clear attempt to further degrade and degrade the societal fabric of these people who've already been decimated by bombings and destruction of their basic infrastructure. And now you're consuming substances without knowledge. And then even if they survive that, when it's ultimately taken away and they're going through withdrawals and they're physically ill and have a physical dependence and don't know why, it makes it even worse. Like what the, I just can't.
You're allowed to cuss on this channel.
I mean, this is why I need the rage-o-meter. I need a rage-o-meter.
Well, India might have church tomorrow and she'll have to say her penance if she's going. So, I just want to make sure that you're allowed to do it here. We accept it.
I have a 6 a.m. shift to go protect that family from ICE. That's what I'm doing.
Oh my God. I'm just saying, I really think that the only thing that these people understand is arms. And that is very unfortunate. But, it scares me for people like you that are doing that. I'm definitely scared for Zoran. The only language that the people speak, the ignorant people speak, is really violence. That's the only language they seem to understand. And it's just getting worse.
That's a very unfortunate truth. And I spoke with Hellgate maybe Monday, and they asked me what advice I had for Zohran. And I said, get private security.
Now.
That's the first thing to do now, right away.
Because the closer he gets and the more momentum he builds, they'll kill him. They think we're fucking around. We're not. Like, no. If they really think that he is going to, as I said, I don't care what he does as mayor. He could be a lame duck for 4 effing years. He has already accomplished more than most people ever will in politics. He is breaking the Israel lobby stranglehold over our nation. That is a victory within itself that I can't even put into words. He is a Muslim. He is a socialist. He is unabashedly pro-populist policies. And it flies in the face of everything that the Zionist movement is about, that the richest city in the world is about. And they are so panicked by him that they're trying to resuscitate Eric Adams, a guy that they had cast aside, who is a crook. Mm-hmm. Didn't matter. They're like, now we're going to pump him up with so much money, it's going to be coming out his ears. That's how it is. But people see it now. And people should see this and understand just how cruel these things are. You think that this only happened here? Colin, scroll down a little bit, please. There's a little bit more to this.
Can you do it, or he has to do it?
No, Colin's got to do it.
Okay.
I don't know if that's so. Can't actually read. No, scroll up. I don't know if there's anything you can do to. Yeah, I think you might be able to adjust it that way. Okay. Government Media Office has expressed its deep concern and condemnation of the discovery of narcotic pills of the type Oxycodone inside flour bags distributed by the U.S. and Israeli-backed aid centers in the enclave. And again, there's no point. It's been proven. Lord knows how much worse it actually is. This is the type of stuff. This is what went on during many different periods throughout history. This is what went on during Vietnam. This is also one of the reasons why so much of the growth, my grandmother, my late grandmother, who lived in Canarsie, one of the roughest neighborhoods in New York. But she and my late grandfather would always talk about how if you ever wanted to know what was going to trend in society in terms of clothes, cars, different types of, societal styles that would become popular, where does it start? Started in Harlem. That's where it would start. And anything that was relevant started in Harlem. And then we had Vietnam, and the Black communities starting in Harlem and many other places were destroyed. Why were they destroyed? Because that's where they trafficked all the drugs. They talked about it in The Godfather, for God's sake. They're around.
Well, and that's a historical document right there. I mean, they talked about it in The Godfather. That must be true.
Well, but it is true, because that's where, you make a movie. And this is the thing that I always found so interesting. You get people like Frank Lucas, who was glorified by Denzel Washington. You get Tony Montana, glorified by Al Pacino. And then you get Gordon Gekko, glorified by Michael Douglas. And it's like, you guys clearly didn't get the message of the movie, did you? You actually got the wrong message. And that's what ends up happening here. And this is why it's like, I got rich from drugs. Yeah, a bunch of people have to die and communities have to suffer as a result. But hey, I'm living high on the hog. And that's always been the defense of it. That has always been what it's about. It's not about how these lives get destroyed.
That is the reason why unchecked capitalism is so dangerous, because everyone wants to be rich and they'll do anything to get there, no matter what destruction they leave in the wake.
Yeah. And incredibly, that's how so much of this has changed. And so
I did see something that said something about RFK, and again, not a fan, but one of the things that they're seeking to do is end the pharmaceutical ads. Now, that is something I have been in favor of forever and a day. So, I am so sick of watching that crap on TV.
No, RFK
I am so sick of the pharmaceutical ads.
Quietly but effectively, RFK actually has a very big win that apparently is going to go into effect. Red dye is being removed from all foods in the United States.
I can't believe we're having to celebrate that, but okay.
Yeah, well, of course, because if you take the same foods, you go over to Europe and 23.
I was just there, and their food is better. Their food is better.
Banned. Why are they banned? Because it's poison.